Win. Or is it Dennis Win? I don't know. But it's D Win. It's Dennis or Denise. But the book tell you about sudden conversion using trauma to convert people. It's a whole book about how you manipulate the minds of people. And I picked that book up when I was doing some research into deprogramming cult victims. And that was one of the books I came across that talked about not deprogramming them, but how the programming works. You got two sides. Once you program, you got to know how to deprogram. But before you can learn how to deprogram, you got to learn how to program. You can't jump on the computer and run the program and you've never seen the program before. You got to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. But that was one of the books I had read on it. That was some good information.
Yeah, because that sounds like that sounds similar to eugenics. Is that like a similar? I would say no, different.
No, psychological conversion or sudden conversion of a mindset. That's psychology. It's not eugenics is genetics.
I got you, bro. So it'll be okay.
Eugenics fall under genetics, and it's about producing the best DNA. Right, or eliminating the worst DNA. Eugenics is what was written by Enki as the remedy for the defective people that Enlil and his son Ninursin created in Babylon.
You know, one of the things I meant to ask you before we got off with the conversion thing. Excuse me. Are you? I'm pretty sure you are, but are you familiar with like all the different elements and different ingredients that they're putting into like the baby formulas as well to kind of feminize the masculine sex too?
Yeah, they've been doing that. That ain't nothing new. We know they're doing that.
Right.
Look, they got stuff in the water that's making frogs have multiple genders. The amphibian is more sensitive than the human genetically. So
or it's just in the comments off top. So man,
you can pin it.
I didn't see it pop up in the comments yet. And I'm gonna get better with this as we go on. Forgive me, y'all. Y'all don't see it in the comments yet.
I'm not there.
Most definitely got to get better with this. First time on live on YouTube. Huh?
It's the post. The comment failed to post.
Okay, well, don't worry about it. I'll get it up there.
I'm gonna text it to you.
I say, peace. We see you too. Now, okay, we on there. I say. So, man, first thing first. OG, how you feeling? There's a lot been going on in the universe. Yes, sir. Real quick, man. You know we in the year 9. That's an Oya number, right? And you see all these storms and stuff going on. You heard anything about Yellowstone?
Yeah, all the animals are leaving, but you know the internet's fact checkers say that it's not true.
You
know how that go.
Yeah. No, preparation prevents poor performance. OG, also I wanted to ask you, because there was a lot of stuff they were asking us last time about minerals and stones and stuff, and we never got to it. So I want to get straight into it now. And I don't know if we ever had that conversation before with you. I know I've had a conversation with Dr. Phil when he was talking about the firmament, right? Being in the dome.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked in the comments, and they asked a real good question. They said, how do we get meteorites that come down if we're in a dome? If space is not real, where are the meteorites coming from?
I'm not from the philosophy of the dome.
Gotcha.
It's not a dome. It's a radiation belt. You can look it up. It's called the Van Allen belt. So when you anything that comes through the Van Allen belt is going to catch fire coming through there because the temperature is so high, but the fire is missing the luminous element. But it's hot enough that anything come through that radiation field to the earth is going to catch fire. Now they got something in the layers of atmosphere called atmosphere. The only way to get through without burning, even trying to exit, is you got to time the atmospheric windows.
Your phone breaking up real bad, OG.
What you want me to go out and come back in?
No, I'm just saying maybe your phone needs to stay. I'm not sure, but it's kind of breaking up a little bit. Because we really couldn't hear what you, I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, so I'm gonna say it again. There's something in the layers of atmosphere have something called atmospheric windows. If you don't go through each layer where the window opening is, the result is, remember the Challenger that exploded going into space?
Yeah.
That didn't catch the window. So when they tried to pierce through the radiation belt, it blew up. They told us it was some kind of fuel leak, but they mistimed the launch. That's why they don't go straight up, right? They thought they could blow it up, Operation Fishbowl. You can't blow up a wave of radiation. It's just not going to happen. Anything you send up there, the radiation is going to increase the heat. If you send a bomb up there, it's just going to blow up right there in the radiation belt. It's called the Van Allen belt. The Van Allen belt is Pleiadian light lock and is reinforced by our Arcturian conjure support, right? That's why it's a verse in the Bible said who can loose the bands of Pleiades, right? The reason why it's asking that question is because the Pleiadians put us in the light lock to settle the conflict in the confines of Earth without interfering with other systems outside of the Earth realm, right? But there's also the secondary factor of holographic projection that's also simultaneously being projected at the same time that we are in this field, right? So it's like putting an energetic bubble. The shape of it, when it's not, the general shape is a torsion field because it's drawing on the natural frequency of the earth and natural frequency of the sun, and that's why the sun and the Schumann resonance is melting away the illusion slowly but surely. This is what we're seeing with the spikes in Schumann resonance. They are upgrading DNA of all species on the planet, but at the same time they're doing that, they are creating a different vibrational frequency where the old paradigm, the old hologram, will not be able to sustain itself because it'll be on a much lower frequency.
So
from third dimension to dimension, the frequency change.
Yeah, no, that actually just really happened. I can't really explain it. I saw it on one brother page, and it was a sister. She was really speaking about it. The frequency changed within the last couple of days. It went blank. Instead of going peaking up or going down, it went blank. And then they were describing it, and I was telling you that my body was hurting. I didn't know what was going on. I'm thinking it was me thinking something was going on with me, but then I started hearing a lot of people going through the same thing. So the energy changes. And then you talk about DNA upgrades or downloads or whatnot. You know a lot about blood types?
No, a little bit. That ain't really my field, but I know a little bit.
I got you. the little stuff that I've been like what they're saying about activating DNA and everything else. I was doing the research on the Rh negatives, and some of the stuff that they're putting out there really don't make sense. But you know, they kind of put a lot of false information out there too. But I don't know, man. A lot of the stuff that's going on right now is saying it's to activate the Rh negatives.
No, that's the original. The O negative is the original blood type.
So why do they say
universal?
So real
all
quick,
the other blood types can get a transfusion from O negative.
Mm-hmm.
All of the positive, Rh positive, can get blood donations from O positive, but they can't give it to the negative blood types. Right? It's only universal to positive. Whereas the O negative is universal to positive and negative. That's how you know it's the original blood type. Right? And then we know that the other ones derive from genetic isolation and diet. Right? So when we're looking at the story of Hanuman, right? Hanuman is the Hindu monkey god, right? But that's in India. In China, he's called Sun Wukong, the monkey king. But Hanuman was trying to figure out a way to give everybody ascension rights. What they call in the rhesus factor is the genetic line of the Hanuman.
Yeah. I didn't think you were gonna connect that like that, but you went straight forward. No, man. Okay, because when you say original, and you're saying some have the monkey DNA, but then they say the O, and they're saying they can't explain this O factor in, and that goes back to the meteorites and everything else, because they're saying the meteorites are bringing down DNA. So I'm trying to figure that out. And I've been collecting a lot of different meteorites myself, but they're also magnetic. Some of these are magnetic stones, like the iron tektites, magnetic stones. And there's a lot of these different stones that we've been working with for years that they don't want to talk about, but they're actually out there space mining now for these magnetic stones. So just saying it like in general, how stones activate your DNA, where you're talking about the zodiac sign. The zodiac sign is also a part like the map to your DNA. So that's what I'm trying to connect to. Huh?
The zodiac sign tell you what sector of the stardust accumulated at the time you was developing. So if you're born under Taurus, when the energy was coming in from the Taurus constellation, it landed on your genetic blueprint, right? So you have the influence of the frequency that came from the Taurus constellation in higher abundance than somebody that's born in, say, Pisces, right? The Pisces constellation influences the Pisces the same way, but it don't have the same effect on the Taurus. But it got all of the 12 constellations have an effect on all of the people, no matter what your zodiac sign, right? And the goal is to try to embody the highest quality, because as you go through parts of your life, you also going through the zodiac wheel. Right? So you might be dominant. You also will have, you also have the recessive of the other 11 zodiac signs, and you have to master the negative qualities that's coming in from that frequency in order to master the zodiac wheel. This is how you get to your fool's journey, to your hero's journey, or Usurian resurrection. Right? The goal is for the divine masculine to vibrate masculine energy at the same frequency, different polarity of the divine feminine. So the original zodiac wheel, it had Ta'art or Tawaret as the centerpiece. She was sitting on the throne of heaven. The first god, the oldest relic of a deity known to man, is Tawaret or Ta'ert, right? The hippopotamus goddess. They use the symbol of the hippopotamus because it tells you the protective nature of the mother, right? But it used the mammary glands of the woman, right? And she used the back of the crocodile. The crocodile spine indicates the upright because it don't bend. Like you ain't never seen a crocodile stand on two legs, bend over and pick nothing up. His back is straight, no matter whether he's crawling on his belly or he's standing on two legs, his back is always straight. That's the symbolism attached to Ta'ert having the crocodile back going to the tail. And then the tail becomes the prop, right? And then she had the lower extremities of a cow, right? So now that's in Kemet, you going from the hippopotamus goddess to Sobek priest to Hathor with the legs, but sometimes she's depicted as having owl's feet, right? So now it's telling you she's aerial, she can fly, she can swim, she can traverse the land and walk. She becomes in the same vein. The goal in masonry is to teach the man to be upright, right? To taking from horizontal to perpendicular, from laying down to standing up. Don't stop at 32 degrees because you're still bending over. And if you're bending over, it's a good chance you're going to be kissing some ass, right? So you got to stand up straight. So if you stand up straight, standing on zero, your head touch 180. Your feet is on zero, your head is standing up straight, your head is on 180. That's a half a circle, right? So if the physical and the spiritual is in alignment, you got two halves of the circle, a 360, right? And if you can see on the earth what you see in the stars, now you have the 7 above, so below. But the reflection of the universe is inside you, so it's as within, so without. As without, so within. So we talking about learning how to return to your state of divinity, right? That go back to the Hanuman story, because all of the guys couldn't stay in Hanuman, but he always completed every task they gave him, right? So when he went to China and became the general, he became the Monkey King, Sun Wukong, the only undefeated general. And he was fighting who? The gods. And they was using what? Conjure magic, hypnosis, poison, right? But he had a superpower. He had a staff that was so heavy when he wielded it, it shakes the foundation of the earth. Right? But it can also be shrunk down to the size of a pencil for him to put it behind his ear. That means he's a student, right? Pencil behind the ear. He's a student and he's a warrior, right? Because he's lashing with the staff, right? When you go to Psalms 23, it says, thy rod and thy staff shall comfort thee.
I see.
Ain't a rod and the staff the same thing? So why do they make the distinction in the two? Metaphor. It's a metaphor. The metaphor is I ride chief and staff.
Damn.
Send me the information.
Chief, my bad. Run that as soon as you started giving that code away, you started glitching. Can you say that again?
Yeah. So the rod, me, Chief Pontiac, and his staff, the collection of chiefs that told me it's your turn to work on the problem. Right? So that's my staff. They all gave me a piece to the puzzle. And the more chiefs I can recognize, the more pieces to the puzzle I can collect. The more pieces to the puzzle I collect by studying the different tribes that they call them gangs, right? They call them mafia, but they families and tribes. That's all the tribe is an extended family, right? Under the leadership of the most loved and most respected in the family, your Don Corleone, the Godfather, right? The Godfather, godlike ability to organize and protect his family without having to leave the comforts of his own home, right? So when you go back and watch the movie The Godfather, they telling you a story about running a family. Everybody think it's a crime story. The criminal activity was just a means to finance the tending to the family. But what did Don Corleone do to Mike? He sent him to military school, put him in the army, right? Sonny was the heir apparent, but he was too hot-headed, right? Fredo, who should have been the heir apparent, was too retarded. He thought he was smarter than he thought he was smarter than he was, and he thought he understood the game better than both Sonny and Michael. And in the end, he turned out to betray the family. It's telling you a family struggle to keep the family together. But they emphasize it as a crime story to give us in the hood who's surrounded with criminal behavior the understanding that no matter what you into in the streets, you protect and take care of home first. A lot of these young guys, even in my era, we didn't think about what effect our activity in the streets could have on the home where our fathers, mothers, and sisters and brothers live. We was just out there just getting it in, putting in work, what they call it. Right? We was squabbing on the block. We was knuckling up. We was running them fades. Right? But some people think that they man and they can't take a whooping. If you can't take a whooping, you shouldn't be out there participating in the activity that might get you whooped. Because you're going to suffer the consequences of the rest of the ones in the hood. They coming from where you coming from. Right? So the rule was, before this gunplay came in, if I run a fade and I lose, I got two options. Let it go. My first option. Take my L and go on about my business. Take it as a lesson so it don't be a loss. Right? It's how you perceive your L. My second option is will and determination, go back, get better, come back and try again. That's the hard way. The gunplay is the easy way. That's the cheater's way. Right? This is why when you study the Dogon mythology, you tell the Nomo told the Dogon, do not use the projectile weapons. Guns wasn't even made yet, and they was warning them about them. Right? So they knew they was coming because they knew who we was at war with. So the Dogon traced back to the reptilian line of the Sirius constellation, and now you understand we are reptile mammalian hybrids. If we wasn't, we wouldn't have a reptilian brain with two mammal brains on top of it that indicated two different eras of development. We went from Homo sapien, the old mammal brain, to Homo sapien sapien, the new mammal brain. Right? And then they mix up ancient bloodlines that no longer exist with the modern and reigning bloodlines. Ain't no Neanderthals. They keep about Neanderthal. If you look back, they want the Neanderthal to be the pale-faced European. Neanderthals weren't pale-faced, first off. Right? Because the dominant trait of the era that the Neanderthal was here was the melanated chocolate brown skin. Right? And the ones who's classified as the gods had magnesium-based blood, and that gave them the shades of blue and green, just like plants, because their blood was more like chlorophyll. Right. So when we start understanding a long time ago that we two different bloodlines, the reptilian bloodline and the mammalian bloodline, and then they mixed.
Well, that goes back to, because like I say, I think the statistics, a lot of this stuff they be lying about, we already know that. They were saying that most O negatives come from Europe or European, or RH negatives come from European ancestry, right? And I think that's weird because every time you see people talk about what their blood type is in the comments, they usually say, especially people that are melanated people, they always say, oh, O negative or something like that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, somebody lying for them to say it's so rare, but so
Those
black people. Huh?
Okay, now you got to look at our fields of study. All fields of study that we have before us is called Eurocentric studies. What do that mean? That means that the center of the perception comes from Europe. That means that when they tell the story, they're going to tell it from the viewpoint of somebody from Europe, a certain native dominance over other people. Remember, they just been studying us for a couple hundred years, but they've been studying African, Asian, and European for a couple thousand years, right? Herodotus, the father of history in Europe, a Greek. Who is the father of history on Earth? America is the land of Tahuti. So if he was the one who invented magic, he invented history, he invented mathematics, right? He invented writing, he invented architecture, right? The multifaceted God. There's no other God recorded in the history books that was recorded, because it's a whole lot. It's for everything that's recorded, it's about 100,000 times that's not. Everything you went through yesterday, that shit ain't recorded.
Right.
Then one day you're gonna be a prominent figure, and your whole life not recorded. Only your key aspects. People don't pay that no attention, because when they get a biography, even an autobiography, it don't tell you the entirety of every day of a person's life. It only tells you the cliff notes, the highlights, what we call the compelling story. But what about the boring story, right? The walking to the store.
Shadow work.
I'm not. Don't nobody tell. That's not a highlight of anybody's story. That hey, we get up and we go to the store. We buy potato chips, Faygo, Pepsi, or whatever, and that's not in people's biography in that fashion. As if that's a day by day. Even when you journal in your life, and you journal day by day, you only journal the things that are important to you as an individual, that you want to look back on in the future to see what you came through, right? That's the shadow work. That's the purpose of journaling. It's supposed to assist you in seeing where your errors at so you can correct them. But people don't know how to correctly journal, so they just write gossip in there. When you read some of these diaries and journals that these people keep, it be stuff like, Pat, get on my nerves. I can't stand that wench. And we're like, this is what they journaling. But they're not journaling that how I perceive Pat. Why do I perceive her in the manner that make me not appreciate her? I can't stand her. What emotion is that? What did she do? And is that emotion in context? Right? So you got different people telling these stories of great individuals, but they still not telling you the whole story because they can't.
Yeah. Yo, so You heard about the sage fires?
Yep.
They have a lot
Tanzania.
of it's one called the blue dragon fire, I believe it's called something dragon, and the other one's the white sage.
I know about the white sage, but I don't know about the blue dragon flower.
Yo, man, so like I say, it's the year 9, it's the year Oya. Peace to everybody in the tribe. Peace to everybody in the tribe, man. This is our first time. They're saying that we should have promoted a little bit better. This is our first time, man. Y'all gonna have to forgive me. But in all these prophecies and everything that's going on, like what's going on in Yellowstone, meteorites landing because they sure didn't crash. And like I'm saying about Oya being over all the weather and stuff of this nature, right? Like, you know, Oya do in certain kind of sacrifices, right? You know, those kids that came up missing were rich kids. That's the sundown town they hit.
In that flood.
Yeah. Those were all rich kids. Like that was a sundown town. They
don't
say
surprise me. It don't surprise me.
No, there's a lot going on in the universe. There's a lot going on in the universe. So yeah, back to these, because like I say, that was one of the big questions they were asking about these tektites and stuff of that nature. You can feel energy from Lil Bro was supposed to be tapping in because we were talking about iron tektites, meteorites. I have one from Egypt called Prophecy Stone. We got Moldavite. We have Living Desert Glass, Moldavite. You familiar with Moldavite? Yeah, so all these different stones, and that's what it really was, trying to figure out. Because I know Dr. Phil had told me one time, he was like, those were pieces of the firmament breaking off. But I kind of think I agree with your whole terminology to it, because like you said, it's coming through. If we are rotating, it's coming through little portals or little holes in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? So other than that, you ever heard of the
a lot of these stones? Yeah.
What were we saying?
Yeah. A lot of these stones are underground. They dig the stones up. No, they supposed to be coming from the sky and they digging them up. Now, it's a real powerful stone called an Andara stone. It looked like a big old chunk of colored glass. But it's so powerful, just looking at a picture of it is powerful. Having a picture of an actual Andara stone, right? They also call it Andara crystals. But to have a picture of one, you can still use the energy of the stone. That's what they are. Right? And they come in different colors and they got different properties with the different colors. Now, a lot of people believe that those are made from the pyramid wars and the nuclear fallout because they are big chunks of glass. But whatever they cause them, they cause to be different colors. Normally, the melt from sand produces a blue color, kind of like the Merlin stone. Right? So all of these stones, the ones that they digging up out the ground, is part of what the earth is. And the earth has a lot of different frequencies to converge, overlapping, in order to give us the appearance of material. Everything is atoms, and it's all an illusion. Everything is atoms. The arrangement of the atom determines the output of frequency that the particular object have. Right? So some of these stones is just alive as we is. But they're alive from a different angle.
I was going to get into it with the DNA thing, because like I say, they're talking about that these are star seeds, the same way they say we star seeds, the same way they can break down that we're stardust, etc., etc. And then I know, but last time we were talking about all those different black stones. So we were talking about Jet, and I know they were saying, we never got into it, but Jet summons shadows. Whereas other stones that are good for your blood, like somebody asked me to make a piece for them after that live, they were like, yo, make a piece for me that will help activate my DNA. So of course I went to, okay, well, what stones are cleanse your blood first? So of course hematite, bloodstone, ruby, moldavite, carnelian. They said carnelian is the blood of a set. Petrified wood, selenite. And I mean they've done rituals all throughout the Bible, Quran, Torah, where they use their blood to activate stones and everything else. So that goes back to the stones being alive. Even in Islam, that whole black stone that they're talking about is a meteorite. It's tektite. It's just a huge tektite. But they say that on their day of judgment, that tektite is going to grow eyes and a mouth and start testifying against the sins of the land. You see what I'm saying? So to activate your stones, sometimes some people have stones and whatever and don't know what to do with them. But if you got a piece of hematite, a piece of ruby, especially carnelian, bloodstone, moldavite, cut yourself. It's called bloodletting. Cut yourself a little bit. Put your little blood, a couple of drops of blood on your stones to activate your stones.
But so, you know that also depends on what you're activating the stone for. Because if you're activating it for a reason, for the wrong reason, and you put your blood on there, that's going to make your karmic backlash powerful. So you got to know, this is why most of the people that get into the occult, before they start using that stuff, they've been studying 3-4 years on one little topic: stones, tarot, astrology, right? Because they start understanding real quick that they dealing with something that's going to generate power from within. And the proper application of these rites is required to get the best benefit. It's like eating clean versus eating junk. Right? Once you understand that all of these rituals have its own energy signature, there's certain stuff you don't want to put blood on. Then there's certain stuff that if you use your blood, you put your personal signature, which amplifies your magic by your internal power of self. Most people don't activate the energies within them because the system has taught us to put ourselves in conjures. The Amen spell. Tell your inner guide to go to sleep. Your ego is. And your ego haven't been purified yet. You haven't done any shadow work. Right? If you do your shadow work, your higher self merge with your ego. This is when you be referred to as a genius. Genius, the root word of genius is genie. The root word of genie is jinn. Right, so now we talking about the what the Islamic world called that's the equivalent of demons to them. But they'll tell you that all jinn ain't bad.
First thing they tell you.
Yeah, it's just like making gin in your bathtub versus a professional distillery. One of them gonna have what's called dirty alcohol, and the other one is gonna be purified alcohol. And that's going to be a better quality of gin. The dirty alcohol going to give you headaches when you drink it. But the clean alcohol, you're going to be drunk. You're going to come down off the drunk and like, woo, boy, I would toe up. Right? And that's what the difference between expensive alcohol and cheap alcohol. Right? And so now you're talking about the spirits. The same way you distill alcohol is the same way you distill your spirit, drip by drip. One piece of knowledge by one piece of knowledge. And if you don't ask no questions, you're not building yourself.
I say. That's what this channel's for, man. I'm the master student of Research Stone. This Rod Hayes. One more time, Rod. If you said your message didn't let you put your Cash App and stuff in there.
Not in there. I texted to you. I had to text it to you.
Okay. I'm gonna get it up there, man. But I'm real big on trying to support yourself and other great leaders that they do a lot. You know what I'm saying? Y'all put a lot of information out there. So if y'all can, please support Rod Hayes. Give him a follow. Check him out on Instagram. Also, if you want to support my page, you go to Instagram, check out our jewelry, our technology. I'm real big on mineral technology, mineral alchemy. Also, man, you heard about the Essence Fest?
Nope. No.
You ain't tapped in there yet?
I ain't heard nothing about this. Is coming up.
No, it already passed by. So apparently, you know that an African bought the Essence magazine, and the lady from Target was an African lady from one of them places over there. She was working for Target. You already know we were supposed to be boycotting Target. They sent her over there to Essence to be like the new CEO or whatever, and they changed the whole. This is why it's kind of important when we be dealing with Arisha Danny and other people that make events, like grassroots events for the community, so we can like vend and have entrepreneurs and stuff out there vending. Because once you go to these events, now they're raising the vendor fees up to $500 to $1,000. Mind you, they only playing their music. They're playing African music. They're playing they you know what I'm saying, their thing, but they don't even understand that Essence was started for Black women in America. You see what I'm saying? So that was a big thing they were talking about. And what'd you say?
A lot of the reason why we not doing that stuff no more, because you gotta remember, when you go back to the 70s, that's when we was losing all of our functions. The government was overthrowing everybody that had a brilliant idea. They say you can't have it unless we give it to you. This is what made them go to war with the Panthers, the Black Liberation Army, the movement. All of these people was doing community work, trying to bring the community together. Them the ones that was targeted for neutralization through COINTELPRO. Right. So they created a condition that made us not want to do nothing with each other. Because of the people that look like us, that ain't us, that keep selling us out and cutting our throat. And we thinking they our brother man, but they really the other man.
That's why I brought it up to you, because it's like, yo, it's proving itself over and over again in real time. Things you've talked about for years, and they came over, they restructured it, they made sure their people were in there to vend, their people, like the whole point of us doing our events and doing stuff for ourselves is so we can support our entrepreneurs, our artists, etc., etc. So it's like when they kind of take over our things and move us out, now you got, like at the Zora Fest is probably about $500 to vend now. Whereas back in the day, it'd probably be $50 to $100 to vend. So it's like they're trying to block us out of opportunities. Back in the day, we could vend in New Orleans. We could just go up and set up on the streets off Bourbon Street. Now you can't really do that because you got to have paperwork and everything else. And they even to the point where they have the white people doing the drum line now on Bourbon Street. Every time you see the drum line, it's all white people. So they got their little ways of trying to, I don't know, man, just write us out of history, I suppose. Hey, Chiefs. Please, got the Chief Tuscaloosa in the building. So yeah, man, I'm just looking at all the different things that's going on in the world. Hey, real quick, Rod, man, are you real versed on the Book of Enoch?
Pretty. I read it a few times.
So with everything that's going on, we talking about these tektites or star seeds that come down from above. We're talking about blood types. In the Book of Enoch, do you think that that's what's activating a lot of people's blood right now? That's why you're having so much crazy stuff going on. I know the solar flares, the heat, but you see how much, like right now, you got people that's not putting up with the coons that want to. There's a lot of coons out here that run these people's establishments for them. The girl Afeni Muhammad, I believe, where she was, they could say mental health and everything else, but those solar flares start hitting. There's a lot of stuff that got to be straightened. A lot of these different people that are taking advantage of these structures to turn around in turn. To take, you know what I'm saying, to abuse their own people. Like you said, the ones that look like us and not us. And it's backfiring on a lot of people. Let me tell you anyway. So,
you know, we starting to recognize them, though. They starting to show themselves.
Yeah.
right? Because when we tell them that we not Africans, they get so angry because they lie not working, right? And the rage that they put out, you froze up, God. The rage that they put in to trying to convince us that we ain't from and we from somewhere else, tell us who they is. Right? They want us to leave the out of Africa. Say again?
No, I said you're right, because they mighty focused on what we got going on over here. Everything we got going on over here. You see what I'm saying?
Look, the whole world been watching as time, wondering which one of the chiefs is going to see through the charade and make the claim in the public domain to liberate the rest of the world. Because when you overthrow the oppressor anywhere in the world, you overthrow him all over the world. Because it's the same MF. It's the same people. Right? So they just don't like to be seen because they can come hide out in our community. Right? We all remember being little kids and we see some rich dude pop up in the hood, but we don't know where he came from, where he got his money from. He's filthy rich and he's trying to fornicate with every one of the sisters in the hood. But he ain't there. He just popped up rich, already rich. Where you get rich? Again, they got one who is in the children to grow up, they get a different and a different disposition. When we used to run the fade, they catch us in the heated moment and convince us that the person that won was worthy of death. But when our culture, he wasn't worthy of death, he was worthy of respect because he handled himself like a man. In their culture, they can't stand to lose. They can't stand to lose, and their whole system is based on artificial information, misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, misdirection, illusions. And if you see through it, they get instantly enraged that you see through it, and you become everything but a child of the Most High in they speech. And all you got to do is watch. Wherever some peaceful people congregate to try to uplift us, they come sliding in the messages with some hostile BS that don't got nothing to do with the conversation. Right? And you let them tell it, ain't nobody got no honor but them. But they don't got no honor.
That part.
Right? We be seeing them every day. They be carrying on. They act like black Karens, but they men.
And always been like this.
At least males. I don't know if they men, but they male. Because they into the other alternative lifestyles. That's why they push that agenda so hard.
Yeah, no, man. The push for the black dollar is going crazy right now. And like, you can't hide nothing no more. You know what I'm saying? It's 2025. Everything is out in the public. You know what I'm saying? Public domain. It's funny how you were talking about the Crips and the Bloods and Red House and Blue House and all that, because what's Ruby versus Sapphire?
Red and blue.
Ruby and Sapphire is the exact same stone. Just like you said, with their kin at the same time, they're the hardest stones outside of diamond. The same house is just one is red, one's blue, same exact stones. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, America got a lot, like it's a lot going on. I see a lot of people coming together. You see all sorts of people like the 607 unks and everything else, because it's weird, because now people that wouldn't have the ghost conversations, because we might not be able to connect with everybody. Now it seems like certain agents are waking up from all around the globe to do their part. However they're doing it, you know what I'm saying, whatever role they're playing their role well, and they're waking people up. Because now I'm seeing people walking them down the street talking about conscious shit, because they heard some shit 607 Unc said, you know what I'm saying? Something Rod said, something. So I think this is a crazy time right now. It's a lot of amazing stuff going on.
You know, so 607 Unc, when he first came out, he BDGD, Vice Lord, Blood Crip, right? And people was getting mad at him, but they didn't understand what he's trying to do. He's saying, from the position I'm standing in, we are the same people.
Facts.
And I can be any one of them people, right? Because they are family to me. And I can see above the shenanigans, right? I got friends that's BDs. I got friends that's GDs. I got friends that's Vice Lords. I got friends that's Crips. I got friends that's Blood. I got friends that's Pyru. I got friends that's 5%ers. I got friends in the Nation of Islam. I got people I done broke bread with in every nation. So now I got to go to fight with that nation because somebody else told us we was each other enemy and we ain't got enough sense to figure out for ourselves that the enemy is the one turning us against each other by infiltration, by flooding our community with drugs, promoting sexual promiscuity, right? And they don't know that the reason why we fighting each other like we fighting each other is because the enemy needed us fighting each other so they could continue to rule while we fight each other. Somebody got to rule. If we busy fighting and killing each other off, who gonna rule? Who gonna govern the land? So since we so busy warring tribes, right, we ain't running the fade no more like we used to because we have a lot of the OGs around that got murdered back in the day to tell us, you know what I'm saying, the real deal. The ones who spotted the police infiltrators and got murdered right before he was able to tell his brother man who the other man was, pretending to be right. In 1983, he said they look like I, they walk like I, they dress like I, but those are the agents of Lucifer himself. Right. Lucifer got a bad rap because they can't show you nothing negative that Lucifer ever did. Right. They don't know that Satan and Yahweh is the same person from two different cultures. Satan is in Set, Lord Set from Kemet. Yahweh is in from Babylon. All of the modern religions is founded up on books that was taken from the Babylonian captivity by the black Jews. They want us to think that the Jews that left Babylon was pale faces. Boy, no pale faces down there yet. So how that's gonna happen? Because all of the pale faces we know today, your Ashkenazi, your Sephardi, your Khazarians, they are all converts to Judaism. And they all use Talmudic and Mishnah, and they use the Torah to convert. So not until you get on the inside do they give you the Talmud and the Mishnah. They use the Torah as the tool to convert you, to give the appearance of being chosen by their God. But we don't believe in that for one reason. When our God created us, he gave us the Americas. He gave us Turtle Island. But when they God created them, he didn't have nowhere to send them because he ain't supposed to be here. So they became nomads, wanderers. What they say when they kick Cain out of the garden, you will be what? A vagabond and a wanderer in the land. You know what a wanderer is?
So they ain't got no home.
A wanderer is an Arab. Arab mean wanderer.
Yo, Chief, it's crazy. I know you might not rock with too much of the Aztec gods, right? Mm-hmm. But the Aztec gods, you know, me and bro be talking about it all the time on the I Say Network. Shout out I Say Network. But peace to the guys, peace to the guys. But the funny thing about it is, their gods were conqueror gods, and that's why you see the hawk or the eagle on there killing the snake. We don't know where these people came from. They don't know where they came from. The people that's down there in Mexico right now will tell you that something brought them down there so they can, occupy the land because they didn't have no land. That's their history. So that's it. It's crazy, what you just said. So
look, Where do the Chinese belong on Earth?
China.
And in China, they have a whole bunch. They got Mongolians and Huns and several other tribal classifications, but they are Chinese. Where do the Japanese belong on Earth?
Japan. Japan, right?
So they got several different. Yeah, they got several different tribes of Japanese in Japan, but they're Japanese, right? And when you go to Africa, you got many different tribes in Africa, but they all was from Africa. They had a home. The people from India, where they belong? India, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how they are synonymous with the land of their origin, right? The only people who don't have a home is wanderer. they have to camp up. They have to camp out on other people's land because they ain't got none. They ain't from nowhere. What they do, just pop out there and how we here? That don't make sense. So your God promising you a land. What'd you say, Stone?
No, they were soldier hating on you. As soon as you started going in on them, they started chopping up. But we got the picture though, most def. Keep going on.
So if you guys chose a people, he would have had a land for you when he created you.
Thanks.
You would be synonymous with somewhere on the planet. You wouldn't be getting kicked out of everywhere you go all over the planet. Unless you don't belong on the planet. Right? So, Elijah Muhammad say everywhere they go, they cause mischief and bloodshed. They come between two peaceful people with their lying and deceiving ways to turn one against the other. And then they offer them a solution so that they can appear like the Savior. That's what he teaches. Okay, now, I always add, they offer you a solution, I add for a fee. Because it's always going to cost you something to allow them to mediate. If you can't see through their shenanigans, you're going to be fighting each other because they started the conflict between you. Bloods and Crips is cousins. Some of them is brothers. You got them growing up in the same house. One blood, one Crip. Right? But when you trace us all back, you start getting down to what we call the Mississippi Delta. All the way down into the Louisiana outlet of the Mississippi River. All the way up into the Missouri River. We populated the land from the rivers. We lived first on the rivers as fishermen, right? But then we begin to become farmers and we begin to have harvest the natural animals of the land. When we was farming, we didn't have to captive our animals. We didn't have to put them and pin them in. We let them roam the land. And the right? So when they talk about the Buffalo Soldiers, the Buffalo Soldiers is the Buffalo Clan. My Buffalo, but they not wearing water bottle helmets, right? You had they had the same dress as they wear on Buffalo Soldiers, Buffalo team.
Hold on for a second, Chi. You there?
Yep.
Man, my bad. You started going in and it started buffering on us. You were talking about the Buffalo Soldiers, Buffalo Clan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was saying that they make mockery of them on the Flintstones. That same headdress that the Buffalo Lodge wear on Flintstones is the same buffalo helmet that they used to wear over here, but they used to wear the whole pelt. The Buffalo Lodge hat was like dressing up, but when they going out to harvest bison, they dress up like a bison and walk among the herd until they pick the ones that they need to take out of the herd in order to feed the people. When the Europeans started making their way across the Great Plains and seen all them buffalo, and we tearing their tail up from among the buffalo, they said the buffalo turning into Indians. We got to kill off all of the buffalo because they keep turning into Indians. So to get rid of the Indians, we got to get rid of the buffalo. So then they came up with something called the buffalo trains. In the buffalo wagon, they be riding across there shooting buffalo from the train or from the wagon. Right? They was paying a hefty price for buffalo pelts because they believed that when they killed the buffalo, they killed one of the soldiers that was dressed like a buffalo. They didn't have enough sense to know he was just dressed up like a buffalo. He a 7 foot tall, 365-pound Mississippian. He and so trace the Black Panther is the Black Leopard. The leopard is ancient to the Black Leopard is the stealth priesthood, the ones who go to a society and blend in with the society in order to find a solution to the problems that's facing the society. And this is why all of the work the Black Panthers did was uplifting work to the people that was oppressed, which was us. But they got infiltrated by people that look just like us. So Tupac said to tell me it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here. I can't lie, ain't no love for the other side, right? What else he say when he got shot? He said during all my riding, all my laying it down on the line, put everything out there for our people. I never in my life would have that somebody that looked like me would be. Remember him saying that?
Yeah, I do.
He's telling you they look like us, but they ain't us. And then we can start seeing the fingerprints of their infiltration. And it was a